Ask everybody to please stand for the prayer by Pastor Dylan Davis of Stone Chapel and to remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord, we thank you so much that we get together tonight, and we thank you for community. Thank you for the men and the women that you placed in leadership here in the community of White House. And God, we thank you for the problems that we get to come together to solve. God, we thank you that we get to see in the midst of adversity your power and your might. And God, I just pray that you would bless our city. Lord, I pray that you would place your hand on us, protect us from natural disasters. Lord, protect our finances and show your favor to the people here in White House. And we thank you so much for the gift of your son, Jesus. And we bless your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Corbett?
Here.
Alderman Matthews?
Here.
Alderman Silver?
Here.
Alderman Spicer?
Here.
Alderman Wall?
Here. We need to adopt the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need to approve the minutes from the October 10th study session and October 19th Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to welcome all of our visitors. Got a nice crowd tonight. I'd like to mention Tracy Finnegan is with us tonight. She's running for school board, so I encourage you guys to get to know her. We've got a proclamation to give tonight, so you guys want to come up? Yeah, right. The whole team?
Most of them.
Most of them?
Most of them.
All right.
That's the family events and whatnot as well. Are we good? That's not pretty. Good.
Whereas the 2023 CCS High School Volleyball team placed runner-up in the Tennessee State Independent Athletic Association Division I state tournament. And whereas the CCS High School Volleyball team finished their season with a record of 16-1. And whereas the 2023 CCS High School Volleyball team consists of the following players: Sophie Doris, Jeanette Wilbanks, Reese Malugan, Gracie McFarland, Riley Tate, Anna Nix, Valentina Mejia, Edie Lewis, Brooklyn Kierman, Josie Calvert, Emery Evelcesar, Karan Gilbert, Caitlin Gade, and Lily Duvall. And whereas the 2023 CCS High School Volleyball team is led by head coach Katrina Epley and assistant coaches Jessica Gade and Logan Doris. And whereas the 2023 all-district players consist of the following players: Sophie Doris, Jeanette Wilbanks, and Reese Malugan. And whereas on behalf of the citizens of White House, we congratulate them on their success and congratulate them on placing runner-up in the 2023 state tournament. Now, therefore, I, John Corbett, as the mayor of the city of White House, and on behalf of the entire board of mayor and aldermen, do hereby recognize the 2023 CCS High School Volleyball team for their athletic achievement and for the commendable representation of White House. In witness whereof I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of White House to be affixed on this 16th day of November 2023. Congratulations to all of you.
Wait, so you guys got all the way to the end and you lost at the end because you went 16-1, right?
Yes,
so you
ma'am.
lost
That's
at
awesome.
the very last game.
That's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, good job. And then how do you say Malugan?
Malugan.
I'm sorry.
Malugan.
They're just gonna turn you one.
You guys want to hold that? And
Yes, we would love to hold that.
Jesus,
Hold it up proud, ladies.
Open it up so you
Yes, open it up.
picture.
Got it? Yay! Yay, good.
Congratulations.
Thank y'all. Have a good night.
Where you going?
Don't you want to stay?
Move on to our public comment section. Nobody has signed up to speak. We've got two public hearings tonight. Ordinance 23-17, an ordinance amending the fiscal budget for the period ending June 30th, 2024. We'll open that public hearing. Nobody signed up to speak, so we'll close it. We've got ordinance 23-18, an ordinance amending the municipal code title 16, chapter 2, street, sidewalk, and drainage design standards, section 16-220. Open that public hearing. Nobody signed up to speak, so we'll close that one. Communication. Alderman Wall.
Nothing today.
Alderman Silver.
Nothing for me.
Alderman Spicer.
For me?
Alderman Matthews.
Yes, I'd like to thank White House High School for having us out for the Veterans Day ceremony. I was very impressed by how the students, they put on an excellent ceremony for our veterans, and they really deserve it.
Yeah, I agree. That was pretty amazing. City Attorney.
I don't have anything.
The Administrator.
Yeah, just a few things. The phase 3 of that Southern Forest Main collection line is substantially complete. The industrial drive that they had tore up has been paved over, and we opened up the line from Hester Drive by the Grace Park Church to the plant. And I think that was crucially important because it took the pressure off the existing 12-inch line, which was that capacity. So phase 4 is nearly ready for bid. The documents are ready to go, but I'm still trying to get some right-of-ways, some easements. I think I've just got a couple of residents left to get, and we should be good to go with that. I did have a meeting today with Kraft CPA. They're the company that has contracted with us to complete our annual audit. This will be the first for some of you, but Mayor Corbett's been involved in this for several years. They've done a great job of getting our audit complete to you at the December meeting. Before the auditors that we had were always stalled until like March, end of March, before we could get our findings. So they've asked us if they could have a 30-day extension this year, and we've discussed the reasons why. And it was basically our finance department underwent a significant staff turnover in the past 6 months, and our assistant finance director that we had that was heavily involved in the auditing process left to work for Metro Library, and our county clerk employee was terminated. So 2 employees from within were promoted to those positions, and 2 new employees were hired. So we had a big substantial learning curve, and it slowed us down the pace we normally have when we're getting information to the auditors, because they're always seeking information from us. We have to get it to them in a timely manner. So we were a little bit delayed that. And they also seen that we had moved our board meeting up to the 2nd week instead of the 3rd week, like we normally do each month. And so that was going to put them another week behind. But they said that we concluded that they can get the audit to you for the January meeting. So we'll have the study session at the January board meeting ahead of the meeting, and then we'll vote on that draft audit. But I am excited to report that for the first time in nearly 20 years, the Government Finance Officers Association has awarded us the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for its annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022. And I'll tell you how important this is. In 2012, I was appointed as the city administrator. One of my goals for the finance department was to obtain this award. And the city I came from and received that several years in a row. And I'd worked for 3 cities, and those other 2 cities had great financial reporting. But it took a change in leadership. We had to make a change in leadership, and we brought some new leadership in, and they had to get trained in their new roles. But we continue to focus on, okay, that's our goal. We got to get there. And Director Barnes and his team was able, after a couple of years, to get us clean audits, because we were not getting any audits that were clean for several years in a row. But they got us there, and then this past year we submitted our audit for certification, and we are excited that we finally achieved that goal. So we're very proud of our finance team, and honored to receive the certificate. So Jason, big clap, right? Thank you. Press release that you can take one, you can pass it down, but we'll be putting this out on our social media sites, letting folks know that we've achieved this accomplishment. So. That's all I have.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's awesome. All right. We need to acknowledge our reports. Is there a motion?
Motion to acknowledge.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consideration of the following resolutions. Resolution 23-12, a resolution approving certain amendments and revisions to the personnel manual. Motion.
Motion to discuss.
All right, second.
Second.
That's all you.
So typically I bring these to you in December November and in June. This year, we brought it a little bit early, and I'll explain why we did that, as we go through the changes. So the first change was just to the organizational chart. Jason reached out to me, and accounts payable had been left off of his particular responsibilities, so he asked that that be added in next time I did changes. That was the only change that was made to our organizational chart. Under holidays, we have actually requested to add Juneteenth. This is now a recognized federal and state holiday, so we are requesting that that be added to one of our holidays. Under annual vacation with pay, as you can see, we have changed all of the accrual rates. One of the reasons we did this, and it was a discussion between Jason and myself and Jerry predominantly, it is a lot easier for us to catch mistakes when we're doing auditing and when we're making sure people are taking the correct amount of time if it is on quarter-hour increments. So we have actually changed the accrual rates and the amount employees are allowed to take to nothing less than 0.25 hours, which is 15 minutes. We have some employees that would show up 6 minutes late for work and take the appropriate 0.0, whatever that math works out to be, which made it a lot harder on department heads to catch to make sure they were actually using their time appropriately. With the vacation and sick time, all we did was take those numbers and round them up to the next quarter hour, so we're not actually taking away a benefit from any of the employees, we're just making it easier on all of us. One of the things that will need to happen because of this change is all of our current employees' current totals will need to be rounded up to the next quarter hour for sick vacation and personal time, just to make it nice and easy on everybody. Retirement credit, which is on page 4 of the resolution. One of the things that I discussed with MTAS as a possibility is for some of our employees who struggle to take off because of responsibilities. We have some that have extremely high workload, timing of vacations with the accrual rates. They actually max out their vacation and lose sometimes. So one of the things we talked about as a benefit for them is to roll their vacation time, some of it over into sick time. There is no cap on our sick time. It can go up to whatever their maximum is, and when they retire, it rolls into their retirement, as long as they retire with the City of White House. It also reduces our liability on our book sum, because we do not pay out sick time when people leave our employment if they choose to leave before retirement. So if they choose to roll over up to 40 hours twice a year, is that what I said in there? I think so. Yeah, 40 hours twice a year. If they're a 40-hour work week employee, and 50 hours twice a year if they're a firefighter on a 24-hour schedule, that reduces some of our liability on our books as well. So that was, and MTAS said that is something they've seen quite a few, including I believe the state of Tennessee does that. They allow their employees to do something similar to this. The personal days requested, I just am requesting to change it to personal time. That puts it more in line with all of our other leave policies. Specifically referring to it as personal days is kind of a misnomer because it is not giving our police and firefighter 2 full days off, and so I wanted to change that to make it more in line by counting it by hours rather than calling it days. It's more just cleaning it up than anything else. The sick leave, again, is just rounding that time up and requiring employees to take no less than 0.25 hours anytime they take off sick leave. Whether emergency leave, same thing, just requiring them to take off that 0.25 hours. Section 7.7, the workplace violence and harassment. There was a whole section on bullying, abusive contact, and some examples of that. That was actually an MTAS recommendation that all cities add to their policies to put us in line with the State of Tennessee Safe Workplace Act, ensuring that employees are not actually being bullied or harassed while they are at work, and it puts a little bit more specific language in there to provide protection to our employees in case those kinds of things are happening. And the last thing that was added in addition was on page 8, which is the vacation leave transfer request form. So in the policy allowing employees to transfer vacation leave to sick leave, that's why I brought this to you in November, they have to submit the request to HR by December 15th and June 1st each year. That will allow my office time, because this will all have to be done manually, will allow my office plenty of time to get that rolled over by the end of the calendar year and end of the fiscal year. This will be the form that they have to complete and turn into us, showing what they're requesting. So I just wanted to make sure that that was in the handbook. Are there any questions for me on any of that?
Okay. I had to Google Juneteenth. I wasn't sure what it was, but is that something that the other cities are doing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All
few that have already adopted. I think we'll see more because the state of Tennessee.
Well, it looks like it's about 2021 is when the federal government recognizes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, any other discussion, questions?
You didn't mention the weather emergency leave, and I know it's the same thing about the increments.
Yes, ma'am.
My question is, why do they have 3 months to take that emergency leave time?
The reason we limit it to 3 months is because they will hang on to it for forever.
Well, no, I'm wondering why it is 3 months.
It's for scheduling purposes for us, so for like police and fire who are on shift, it makes it a little bit easier for them to take this, to give them that 3 months to schedule it so they're not putting their own shifts in,
Short shift.
yes, basically, yes, ma'am.
I just thought that was a little exaggerated, that you're closing the office and letting people be paid to take time off, and then you're extending it to 3 months.
Well,
to
if
take
the
time
offices
off.
are closed, they are required to take it on that day. It's only for the employees who are actively working on that
That's
day.
generally gonna be your police on that are on duty, your firemen that are on duty, or your public works guys that are out there moving snow around.
In the weather.
That's for about 75% of employees that are just that.
They use
whatever
it that
they
day.
use that day. It's that day, has to, because they're closed, they can't come in, so.
So when does this start? Is it immediate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how much more in payroll is that going to be for all of these changes? Adding, 1 day and then rounding up all these accruals for vacation and sick time and rolling over, because then you'll have to accrue for those as well. Do we have a number, how much more that's going to be for the budget?
It doesn't actually affect the budget that much, because they either take vacation time or they lose it. So the rolling it over into sick time doesn't have any financial impact on us at all, allowing them to do that rollover, because we don't pay out for sick time, so whatever they roll over is just sitting in their balance.
The maximum hours did not change, right?
Correct.
Okay, so, because I know if you put the calculator to 7.75 hours, say on someone who's been here 31 years, it comes, and it's per pay period, correct?
Yes, sir.
So it would be over 200, like 201.
Yes, sir. The total number of hours would be 201.5.
So all they can take is 200 though, right?
That is the maximum they are allowed to carry, yes, sir.
So it really is not changing much there.
No.
Okay.
And that's why it's not really affecting the budget or the liability on the books, because the caps remain the same. It just kind of readjusts how we accrue it, just to make it a little bit easier on us.
Any other questions? All right, got a motion?
Motion to approve?
All right, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 23-13, a resolution to discontinue a period of temporary employment for employees of a political subdivision participating in the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System, TCRS, in accordance with Title 8, Section 34 through 37 of the Tennessee Code annotated. Got a motion?
Motion to discuss.
Second.
Second.
This is something that Jerry and I have discussed doing over the last several years, and after discussing it with TCRS, a lot of cities are doing away with the 6-month probationary period. It doesn't affect us budget-wise at all, because I already budget the maximum for that salary line. So the 5% that are the 9.51%, I think we're currently paying in as a city on TCRS, is budgeted for the full salary regardless of whether or not someone's within their 6 months. It makes it easier, again, on us for accounting purposes, because we don't have to, right now, we have to keep reminders to go in 6 months after the person's employment to make sure we get deductions put on correctly, and then the employees freak out because suddenly 5% is being taken out of their paycheck, and they call us in a panic. This just makes it easy that it can start on day one, and it's also an additional benefit for them because they don't have to go back later on down the road and come up with a lump sum of money to buy back their first 6 months. And again, this is something that a lot of cities are doing. They're actually eliminating the 6-month waiting period. It was originally started to make sure people got through their 90-day probationary period, but we have so few individuals now who don't make it through that 90-day probationary period because we've gotten a lot more efficient at hiring that there's really no reason not to.
Discussion? Questions? Got a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 23-14, resolution authorizing participation in the James L. Richardson Fire Safety Matching Grant Program. Motion to discuss?
Motion to discuss.
Second.
Second.
This is a grant that's offered by Public Entity Partners annually that we have been participating in probably 15 plus years would be my guess. We've been participating in it as long as I've worked here. It actually provides funding for us for our training program. It provides a 50% grant. I think we get like $4,000 or $5,000 back every year for this. And it's where we do all of our annual driver safety training, sexual harassment, workplace violence, Title VI, all of that training that's required for us is done through this system. And we get several $1,000s back with this grant to help cover the cost of that.
Discussion? You got a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Consideration of the following ordinances. Ordinance 23-17, an ordinance amending the fiscal budget for the period ending June 30th, 2024, second reading. Got a motion?
Motion to discuss.
Second?
Second.
Jason?
This is the second budget amendment for the year. First item on there is regarding a traffic signal, a traffic pole that was damaged, I believe at Hester Drive. I think a truck ran over it, and of course we get stuck with the bill, unfortunately. And it's something that we didn't budget for. It happened in a bad timing error of when we were preparing for this budget, that we couldn't add it to the budget, but we knew that it was going to happen at the point when the insurance settled everything. We did receive money for this from their insurance company. So as far as cash goes, we're not going to be out anything for cash. I don't remember if this is one that was settled without a deductible, but if not, then we would just be out our deductible. I think we got our deductible back on this one though. The second item is to cover the overages for the soccer complex project. That project just was way over budget from what we had budgeted for it, and that was something that we budgeted. We had numbers from a few years ago when we started planning for it. So we've come up with some more funding that TDEC is going to offer. So we had to cover their match with that. Are there any questions regarding these?
The funding from the park sales tax and the impact fees, are we pulling from another project that's in the pipeline, or are we pulling from reserves?
We're taking reserve funds. I mean, obviously, we have other projects that's in the pipeline, but for right now, everything that we have is funded, and we kind of look at Kevin, but we're using fund balance to cover this, plus the extra money coming in from the state to help cover the 50% match. So that's where we're really getting the money from to make that work. Parks impact fees, we had enough money in there to cover it too. So look at the fund balance, so we can really get the project started, and it's going to carry over probably into the next year anyways. And so we'll have to look at make some adjustments later. But for right now, this covers the entire cost of the project.
So does that drop below our reserves for those funds, Jason, that we typically have?
Are you talking about the goals that we have for those? No, sir. I think we're still fine with those. And those two funds also, the goals aren't as critical on those because there's not operating costs in there, so we're not obligated to do anything from one year to the next. If we needed to, we could completely stop any spending in either one of those funds. And there's no employees in there, there's no utility bills in there, there's nothing in there that has to happen. It's all capital project funding.
Okay. Any other discussion?
No.
Roll call.
Alderman Matthews.
Aye.
Alderman Silver.
Aye.
Alderman Spicer.
Aye.
Alderman Wall.
Aye.
Mayor Corbett.
Aye. Ordinance 23-18, an ordinance amending Municipal Code Title 16, Chapter 2, Street, Sidewalk, and Drainage Design Standards, Section 16-220, second reading. Have a motion?
Motion to discuss.
Second?
Second.
option or discretion through density testing, but not make it mandatory when we proof roll the roads.
What we talked about this last time?
Yeah.
Yep. Any other discussion?
No.
Roll call.
Alderman Matthews,
Aye.
Alderman Silver,
Aye.
Alderman Spicer,
Aye.
Alderman Wall,
Aye.
Mayor Corbett.
Aye. Ordinance 23-19, an ordinance deleting the municipal code Title II, Chapter 3, Cemetery Board of Trustees, first reading. Got a motion to discuss?
Motion to discuss.
Second?
Second.
You go up, you went through time.
Yeah, this was just deleting our cemetery board, that we only had one funeral home participating in our cemetery board meetings. We only met twice a year. I kind of feel like I can cover just reporting on that on probably a quarterly basis, because that's the way we were doing it before. Just keep you guys updated on anything on a monthly basis, on the monthly reports. So that's pretty much.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Can I have a motion to approve for tonight?
Oh, sorry, skip that part, yep.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that carries. Purchasing, to approve or reject the bid from Rogers Group, Inc. in the amount of $2,939,750, and allow the city administrator, Jerry Rose Herman, to enter into a construction agreement for the soccer complex parking lot expansion project. Parks and Recreation Director recommends approval. All right, the motion?
Motion to discuss.
Second?
Second.
So this is the project that Jason was referring to that came in well over budget. We first started out, I think, for $1.3 million was what we had originally budgeted and put in our grant proposal and everything else. And then obviously the grant for the project came in at almost $3 million. So obviously well over what we budgeted for it. So, but just as far as the project itself, obviously it's just a large parking lot. I think 500 spaces, something like that. A large pavilion, ADA accessible, which, you know, of course, the front of the soccer complex is currently not ADA accessible. So, and then sidewalks, I think a stormwater area. And that's pretty much it. And if you want me to go into like the history of all the, you know, background of getting the grant and what all happened with that, I can. But,
I don't think so. This will be used also for the Americana, right?
correct.
Yeah.
How long will it take them to complete it?
I think it's 9 months.
We have a 9 months, said the,
Sooner the better,
Yeah.
yeah.
before somebody gets hurt out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we get these large tournaments, and you got,
Oh, yeah.
we'll get 1,000 people out there, you know, and.
Or more.
Right, yeah. Our codes require us to have a paved parking lot. We just haven't got there yet, but we're getting there now.
Yeah. You know, I know the project obviously needs to be completed. The gravel lot is out there, it's unsafe, it doesn't look very good, it's out of compliance with our ordinance. It's a project that certainly needs to be done. One thing, looking at this project, when I started breaking it down, is how much over budget it was. And so I pulled, we went back and pulled the original estimates that were done. The original estimate for this project was done back in 2018, and the scope was not totally different, but it was different. And so the numbers for that came in at about $2.2 million is what was originally estimated in 2018. When we submitted the grant, I guess, was that 2020 or 2021?
2020.
Okay. We changed the scope of the project.
Yeah.
We added a pavilion, we moved the parking lots around, we added a bioretention pond, we added a 10-foot sidewalk instead of, I think, a 4-foot sidewalk. So your scope changed dramatically from the original project.
One was the soccer field, we ended up.
In getting rid of the soccer.
We ended up adding
Yeah.
we ended up paying, in that time frame, we ended up doing the 6th field and lighting it. We put a little over $1 million worth in that.
And I'm sure all of the scope changes have to do with TDEC.
Right.
You know, the
Yeah,
state
sure,
requirements,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
to help
I think
you
some of
understand
them were
what you got.
design and some of them
Right.
were probably TDEC, but
Yeah.
the scope changed pretty dramatically. And, you know, when we estimated that out, and I'm trying to pull the estimate here, you know, we did not have, I don't think, at least I did not get a copy of it, an engineer go out and estimate that project out like we did back in 2018.
No. I think we just kind of, I think he deducted what we'd already done from the project, which took us down to, I think it was, we was figuring about 1.3, but taking off what we'd already done. But the lighting was, you know, you're right, he didn't do an itemized budget other than what he submitted to the grant.
Yeah, the scope, to me, and I had some other people look at it, the scope changed enough where they felt it should have been re-estimated by an engineer, and to, at a detailed level. So, you know, the estimate that we got at 1.2 million, you know, we don't know whether that's accurate or not. That's one thing. I don't think, I don't have enough detail to see whether it's accurate or not.
The only thing I could go by is the fact that, you know, it was initially going to be for this last phase. It was a $500,000 matching grant with the state, but because of the COVID and the inflation jump, they came back and said, listen, we know inflation is going to have an impact on this. We'll bump it to 650. They're the ones that decided that. We'll go to 650 and match. You can come up with 650, which is what we came up with, 1.3. And so I think that's what changed it right then. And then obviously it changed again. The state reviewed it again, and if they felt that the numbers were that far out of, I think they would have stopped the project, because they could have. But they came to us, and when we asked for it, actually they kind of told us to ask for the additional funding. That was their recommendation to us. Listen, we don't want to kill this project. If you guys can come up with 1.5, we'll come up with 1.5 and match it, and they did.
I don't think we could have changed the cost anyways. I mean, you know, that's just part of the grant. I mean, they probably would have just killed our grant if we would have come in and done that. But of course, you know, maybe we should have seen it coming, maybe, but I don't know. It was kind of hard. You know, it's set in stone. Like, you can't go in and change anything on those grants once you have submitted.
Correct. That's I understand that.
But what you're saying though is
we should have had a detailed engineering estimate done before we submitted that grant, and I don't think that number is probably very accurate. And you know, and when it comes back at almost $3 million, you kind of see that even with inflation, and we haven't had that significant. It's 226% over budget. So
that's not unusual. I mean, I deal in construction. Its costs are
3 times
crazy. We've got Kroger. You know, it used to cost $25 million to build a store. It's $50 million now. I mean, it's.
I mean, lumber in the course of like 2 months inflated over 50 to 60% just in cost.
I think this is probably a one-off.
Yeah, I mean, the one bid was $6 million.
Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with aggregate and asphalt is your biggest cost.
That's right.
And I think, you know, I don't know.
No, the site work, moving the dirt.
Right.
That was, I think, a pretty high price.
Okay.
Yeah, I can give you an example just on the Greenway. You know, originally got to pave it in 4 sections. Originally it was going to be $76,000 per section. And we just did, 2 years ago, we just did that one little section from behind the barbecue place down to Tyree Springs that cost us $90,000. So I mean, it's like exponentially more for paving for whatever reason.
Yeah, I understand that. I just, you know, looking at trying to get costs down, and there may not be a way around it, but trying to get these costs down. You know, a good example is, you know, the pavilion that they've quoted out here. It's a 1,800 square foot pavilion. It's pre-engineered, and they've quoted that out at $285,000. I mean, that's insane.
Splash pad buildings were $450,000.
Well, you've got a dumpster enclosure that is almost $30,000. You know, that's those prices to me. You know, I don't know whether it may not be this project, but we've got to figure out a way to get these costs down, whether it's breaking it down and subcontracting it out separately. But, you know, when these large quotes come in, they're coming in way over budget.
And Jason was telling me when a project he was working with Robertson County Schools, they bid it out, they came back, they said, no, they're too high. Bid it again, even came in higher. It's like, oh my.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
gotta- There's so much construction going on in Tennessee and there's a lack of contractors that
there's
prices.
demand.
They're driving the prices up so high, and so that's, you either sit and wait till the economy tanks or something on some projects, but, don't do the project, which we consider maybe we can't do this project, so, I'm struggling with that with another project on Hester Drive, and do we do or not do the project with the state, but each one of these projects have to be looked at individually and decide is this something, is this a need that we need to fulfill, or is it just a want that we'd like to have? And I think we determined this is a need for what we have, and so that's the reason I thought, well, if the state can give us $1.5 million, can I find $1.5 million in our budget? And I ran through it and I looked at the numbers. I thought, yeah, we can do it. It's going to hurt us. It's going to delay us from doing a couple other park projects which we're hoping to do in the near future. It's going to delay it another year, but I'd rather delay those projects and get this one done. It's been on the books longer, trying to get this project done. So if we didn't have the money, we would just say, no, we can't do it.
I mean, this project has been in the 10-year plan for like 15, 20 years, so this is something that.
Yeah, I don't oppose, like I said, I don't oppose the project.
Right, I know, I hear what you're saying.
It's just trying to get the cost in line.
One is, could we have done a little bit better on the bid process? I mean, not necessarily bidding, but getting our construction costs.
Correct,
A
yeah.
little more detailed before we did the grant, I get that. So, that's something.
And that to have a qualified estimate from an engineer that's detailed out gives us a little more assurance when they do go over budget.
Right.
Yeah.
His first one was in 2018, early January 2018, but it changed, like you said, the scope changed and everything. We probably should.
Because I have seen cities that they reject the bid and they go back and they essentially contract it out themselves. They break the project up, reduce the cost, and that's recent.
The state has a law, if it's over $25,000, you can't.
Correct, you have to bid out each one.
Correct.
And
you can't break it up and try to keep it under and that type of thing.
Yeah, but you could phase it out where
you could phase the project.
Each things are separate, and try to bring that cost down, and either hire a project manager that can handle that project, or have someone do it internally. And those are just some things that I think that we might want to look at. I don't know if it's a good idea, but just a way to get these costs under control.
Yeah, I think staff does a pretty good job of trying to manage costs. So I'm not sure there's much we could have done in this case. Just the timing, the COVID, it just sort of a perfect storm. I don't think this is an indication of how the city typically bids and estimates things. I think we did a pretty good job. So, okay. Any other discussion? All right. Got a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Any opposed?
No.
All right. Other business, to approve or reject appointing Mr. Gary Faust to the beer board. Got a motion?
Motion to discuss.
Okay, sure. Second.
Second.
Okay. We had former Mayor Ferris Bibb decided to step down from his position to the beer board, so we reached out to the public, and Mr. Faust was willing to step up and serve on the beer board. I think he's qualified. I think he'll be a good addition to the board.
On the industrial development board,
Yep.
he was here. He was here for our meeting the other night.
Yeah.
And I think he applied to one of the
He did.
the vacancies, right?
Yeah,
The
he did.
Alderman
He
vacancies.
applied to Alderman vacancy.
Appreciate him being willing to step up.
I like it.
Appreciate y'all supporting appointing him. Got a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. No discussion items, no other information. We're adjourned.